What is going on, everyone? Leon checking in, and we're at it again with another video. In today's video, we'll be talking about Android optimization and increasing productivity by talking about Do Not Disturb and how to use and customize it. Now for this video, we'll be referring to Do Not Disturb as DND. Now DND is a customizable Android quick settings tile that allows you to limit or block app notifications, messages, or calls for periods of time when you're trying to focus. Now for reference, I'm using the Pixel 5 running Android 11 and the Nova launcher. Now depending on your phone, Android version, and launcher, your results may vary. Now the goal is to produce more videos like this to increase coverage of Google hardware and software. As always, I only feature products or services that I buy, use, or am interested in. This means the content is not sponsored, so if you could like, share, or subscribe, that's a free way to support us. Don't have time to watch the whole video? We're now a podcast you can find on multiple platforms by searching for Pixels Cracked. And if you are listening to this on a podcast, you can find a more detailed video and YouTube channel by searching for Pixels Cracked as well. All things said, let's go ahead and get into it. So to find the DND Quick Settings tile, we're going to pull down from the top of the screen once and then twice. Now we're going to look for an icon with a circle and a line going through it and text underneath it reading Do Not Disturb. Now if it's not on this first page here, we can swipe to the left to take a look at the second page. Now if you still can't find the DND Quick Settings tile, I recommend watching the previous video where we talked about quick settings, and you can access that video by clicking on the card in the corner of this video. Now as for me, I prioritize DND on the first page of the quick settings. Now if the icon is highlighted blue, that means that the tile is enabled, and if it's grayed out like some of these other tiles, that means that it's disabled. So let's talk about how to customize DND. Now as you can see, we have a gear icon in the bottom right hand corner of the quick settings panel. Tapping on this icon opens the phone settings. Next we'll look for sound and vibration, and then we'll tap on it. Next we'll look for Do Not Disturb, and then we'll tap on it. Now this opens up a new page where we can customize DND. Now our first option is to turn DND off or on. Now this option is useful if you've made changes to the items to follow and you want to test DND. Now scrolling down, our first category is what can interrupt Do Not Disturb. Our first option is people, and we can tap on that. Here we can customize which conversations, calls, and messages can come through when DND is enabled. Our first category is conversations that can interrupt, and we're going to tap on that. Now this opens up a new page, and our options are that all conversations can interrupt, priority conversations can interrupt, or none. Now personally, when I enable DND, that means I want complete focus, so I usually tap the none option, and that means no conversations will come through. Now to back out of this page, we can tap on the arrow in the top left hand corner. Next we have calls, and tapping on this option opens a new page as well. So here we have calls that can interrupt. Now our first option is Starred Contacts, and that has a gear icon to the right. Now if we were to tap on this gear icon, it would take us into our contacts where we could star contacts that are allowed to call us when DND is enabled. Generally, I recommend allowing contacts that you would consider urgent, such as family members, which is what I've done here. You can see that I've selected mom, dad, and sister. Now, if the contact option is selected, that would allow all contacts to come through even when DND is enabled. Now, as you can see, we have a gear icon to the right of that, and that just takes you into your contacts where you can edit or delete them. The next option we have here is anyone, and that allows all your contacts and anyone who isn't a contact to call you when DND is enabled as well. And then if we scroll down a bit, we have none, and that just means that no one can call you when DND is enabled. And then if we scroll down a little bit more, we have allow repeat callers, and this could be an interesting one if someone's trying to reach you in an emergency situation. So this will allow a caller through who's called a second time within 15 minutes. Now the con to using this feature would be if you have a spam caller who's also trying to make it look like it's an emergency call and they call you a second time within 15 minutes, that may allow them through as well. Now to back out of this page, we can tap on the arrow in the top left hand corner. Now scrolling down here, our next option is messages. Now tapping on this option opens up a page similar to the call page minus the allow repeat option. And this will do the same thing. It will determine which messages can get through when DND is enabled. Now we can back out of this page by tapping on the arrow in the top left-hand corner. Now we'll tap on the arrow in the top left-hand corner once more, and that's going to bring us back to the main DND page. Now our next option is apps. Now tapping on this option opens up a new page where we can add apps that can interrupt when DND is enabled. Now to demonstrate this, I'm going to tap on the add apps option and I'm going to search for Black Player EX. This is a music player that I like. It works really well. I recommend it if you are using your offline music. And the reason I'm adding this is because I do like to play music while I am trying to focus. It helps me get more in the zone, especially for situations like working or working out. So here you can see it opens up a new page for Black Player EX, and our options are to allow all notifications, Black Player, or scanner. And I'm just going to tap on allow all notifications. That'll turn all the sliders to blue. So what this means is Black Player EX can show notifications even when DND is enabled. Now to back out of this page, we can tap on the arrow in the top left-hand corner. Now that Black Player EX is enabled and allowed to send notifications while DND is enabled, I'm going to scroll up to the top of the page here, and we're actually going to remove it just to demonstrate this. So I'm going to tap on Black Player EX, and then I would just tap on the allow all notification slider. That's going to gray everything out. Now that means that Black Player EX can't send notifications when DND is enabled. And then we're going to tap on the arrow in the top left-hand corner, and then you're going to see that's going to remove Black Player EX. I'm then going to tap on the back arrow in the top left-hand corner once more, and that's going to bring us back to the main DND page. Our next option is alarms and other interruptions, and tapping on this opens up a new page. So this next page is items that make sounds that you do want to allow the sounds to come through even when DND is enabled. Now this page is solely based on your preference. Now items here include alarms, media sounds, touch sounds, reminders, and calendar events. Now I recommend having the alarms enabled at bare minimum because if you turn DND on, you may still want your alarms to come through in a situation, for example, where you're sleeping. We can then return to the main DND page by tapping the arrow in the top left-hand corner again. Now scrolling down, our next category is schedules, and tapping on that opens a new page. Now this is self-explanatory as well. Here we can schedule when DND comes on. Now this is helpful in a situation such as sleep-in where you want DND to automatically come on and automatically turn off while you're still sleeping. So here you see we have a sleep-in schedule, an event schedule, and then an option to add a customized schedule. Now as you can see, the sleep-in and event schedule have a gear icon to the right, and tapping on the gear icon would allow you to customize the schedule. So we're going to take a look at the sleep-in schedule. We're going to tap on the gear icon there. So this opens up a new page where we can edit or delete this schedule. Now this works perfectly for sleep. You can see that we could select the days that we wish the schedule to be enabled. We can select a start time, we can start an end time, and then for peace of mind, the alarm can override the end time, which means that if the alarm is before DND is actually disabled, the alarm should still work. Scrolling down, there's also a last option, do not disturb behavior, use default settings. Tapping on this opens up another new page. Now I haven't messed with this at all, but this is another option you could play with to see how it works. Now we're going to tap on the arrow in the top left-hand corner a few times to return to the main DND page. Now scrolling down here, our last category is advanced. Now our first option is duration for quick settings, and tapping on that opens a new window. Now this window has options that allow you to customize how long DND runs. So the first option is more manual. It runs until you turn DND off. Now the next option customizes how long DND runs after you've enabled it. And you can decrease or increase this time by tapping on the minus or plus icons to the right of this option. So obviously tapping on the minus icon will decrease the amount of time DND runs, and then tapping on the plus icon will increase the amount of time DND runs. And then that last option, ask every time you tap on the quick settings tile to enable DND, it's going to bring up this same exact page. Now for me, I'm going to tap on until you turn off because I like to manually control DND. And then once our option is selected, we could tap OK. And then our last option is display options for hidden notifications, and tapping on that will open up a new page as well. So this page controls visuals and sounds when DND is enabled. So the first option is no sound from notifications. And obviously that means that notifications won't make sounds, but there may still be visuals. The next option is no visuals or sounds from notifications, so you won't get any sounds or visuals. And then you could create a custom here. Now, I haven't played with this one as well, but it is available if you're looking to experiment furthermore. So that is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it and found it useful, please leave a like. If you're watching this on YouTube and have any questions or comments, as always, drop those down below and I'll do my best to answer them. Now, there are 3 ways you can support the channel and podcast. The first way is to click on the Amazon storefront link found in the description below. There you'll find items that I have bought or I would like to buy, and anything you buy from the storefront does support the content. The next way you can support us is just by sharing this with someone who might enjoy it or find it useful. And the last way you can show your support is just by clicking the subscribe or follow button. Now, liking and subscribing are important. Those are your ways to vote on whether you like the video or the podcast. Liking and subscribing are also important for new viewers and listeners. If new viewers and listeners see likes and subscribers, they're going to think that the content is helpful, worth watching, and listening to. So that is pretty much it. And until next time, Leon checking out.
You